On Thursday morning, Japan's Self-Defense Force helicopters dropped seawater on the damaged number 3 reactor building. 2 helicopters dumped 7.5 tons of water 4 times. Later in the day, the SDF sprayed 30 tons of water from the ground into the pool by using 5 special fire trucks in rotation. Tokyo Electric Power Company says the effort was somewhat effective as they saw steam rising up from below the reactor building after the operation finished. The utility also says the radiation level at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant was down slightly by 17 points to 292 microsieverts per hour. That about 30 minutes after the operation was completed. The government agency says the levels have continued to decrease, and by 5 a.m. it was at 279 microsieverts. The SDF say their helicopters and fire trucks will resume operation immediately when they get word from the government. Some of the trucks can spray up to 11 tons of water into a point 80 meters ahead within a few minutes. Tokyo Fire Department also plans to take part in the cooling down operation. It says its 30 rescue squads left Tokyo early in the morning. The department says the team includes water cannon trucks and pumper trucks as well as 139 firefighters. And Tokyo Electric Power Company hopes to activate the cooling system in one of the reactors at the Fukushima Daiichi plant as early as Friday night after restoring power to the system. The company says that if it can send electricity to the reactor's cooling system, it'll be able to improve the situation at the quake-hit nuclear plant. 3 reactors at the plant lost cooling capabilities due to a power outage and the failure of emergency power generators after last week's earthquake and tsunami. The company laid a new power line to the plant on Thursday, but has yet to connect it to the number 2 reactor building. The firm says the reactor seems to have suffered less damage to its electrical equipment than the other reactors at the plant. However, the company says connecting the cables could be hampered by the threat of radiation to the workers who will have to approach the reactor. And the number of dead from Friday's massive quake and tsunami has now exceeded 5,600. More than 9,500 others are still missing. Japan's National Police Agency says 5,693 deaths have been confirmed so far and 9,522 people remain unaccounted for. In Miyagi Prefecture,
and they were broken, so a pump to cool down the nuclear fuel was no longer available. So that's the biggest trouble causing these issues. So TEPCO is trying to bring a new cable from the Tohoku Electric Power Company's power transmission lines, and they are going to replace the power transmission panels. And at number 1 and number 2 reactors, they're going to restore and install the necessary facilities by the end of today. These are the fire engines on standby to go to the plant. These fire engines seem to belong to the Tokyo Fire Department. They're going to discharge water at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. As far as we can see on the screen, there are about 10 fire engines standing by here. They are going to discuss safety measures with TEPCO to start discharging water in the afternoon. In response to the request from the government disaster response team or headquarters, Tokyo Fire Department dispatched emergency units to Fukushima Prefecture, and after 8 a.m. today, they arrived in the Yotsukura station in Iwaki City. 22 fire engines are going to take part, and some of them are equipped with a water discharging tower, and some can discharge water 5 tons per minute. A total of 30 engines are going to take part. Safety countermeasures are going to be discussed with TEPCO so that the water discharging activities can start in the afternoon. And these are the fire engines from the Tokyo Fire Department arriving in Fukushima, Iwaki City, and they are preparing to discharge water this afternoon. They are going to the site to discharge water this afternoon. Yes, at Fukushima Daiichi Nuclear Power Plant, they are going to take part in the important mission to cool down the reactors. There are two possible ways. One is to use an external power source so that motor and pumps can be restored, as well as the cooling function. Secondly, water cannons and fire engines of the Tokyo Fire Department and self-defense forces are standing by. With the support of these two organizations, water is going to be discharged onto the spent fuel pool at the number 3 reactor to recover the water level. And nuclear fuel is probably exposed, so water is going to be sprayed to recover the water level to prevent the further dispersion of radioactive material. In the middle of the screen, you can find the white long metal equipment on top of the fire engines. These are the water discharging towers, which are 22 meters high. Water can be discharged to a high place. Is that going to be necessary? We don't know the details of how to discharge water by the Tokyo Fire Department, but they brought these fire engines equipped with this water discharging tower, and the fuel pool at the number 3 reactor is at a high place. So, if water is discharged from the ground, to reach that level could be very difficult. So, yesterday, Tokyo Metropolitan Police Department Riot Police Unit couldn't reach far enough, and they failed in discharging water onto the pool. But now, these fire engines equipped with these water discharging towers are standing by, so there is a higher possibility of a success in spraying water onto the pool.
Right. And nearly 10,000 people in Fukushima Prefecture have evacuated their homes to other prefectures to avoid possible radiation from the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant. The Meteorological Agency says winds in the area around the Fukushima plant are blowing to the southeast toward the sea. The agency forecasts that the winds will turn northeastward toward the sea on Friday afternoon. So far, 9,965 people in Fukushima have evacuated to other prefectures. More than 3,200 people have moved to Niigata Prefecture, while around 2,000 have fled to Yamagata and over 1,500 to Tochigi. Some prefectures are providing Fukushima evacuees with screening tests and health counseling services. Member of the Group of 7 industrialized nations are responding to the massive quake in Japan. Now Ross Mihara has the details. Ross.
That's right, Yuko. In the wake of the massive earthquake and tsunami, the Group of 7 finance chiefs agreed on coordinated intervention in the currency markets. Japan's monetary authorities took immediate steps to stem the yen's surge. The Japanese authorities began selling the yen for the dollar at 9 a.m. local time on Friday. In an emergency conference call earlier in the morning, other G7 members also agreed to make similar efforts through their currency markets, as the yen's rapid rise could have a negative impact
on site. Yesterday, used helicopters and fire trucks to spray water from the sky and also from the ground. However, the water level in the pools remain low and the risky and dangerous situation continues. Therefore, the SDEF will send in special fire engines, all 5 of them, to spray water from the ground. And just like yesterday, these trucks will approach reactor number 3 one by one, and altogether will pour in 30 tons of water. at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. The Tokyo Electric workers are trying to restart the power supply from external power sources. And after this work is done, the SDF operation will start from around 2 p.m. The Tokyo Fire Department received a request from the government and will send 30 special fire trucks and also firefighters. 139 firefighters will be involved in operation. The Tokyo Fire Department's operation will carry out their operation after the SDF has carried out their operation. In order to cool the number 3 reactor at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant, the SDF will use their equipment that has been gathered from camps around Japan.
This 今回の任務は本当に困難が予想されます。大変危険な活動であると思いますが、この災害には日本の国名がかかっております。国運がかかっております。まして都民のみならず、多くの国民の命がかかっております。
一人一人と固い握手を交わして、今消防総監が福島第一原発に送り出す。今消防隊員らが皆乗り込みました。
やはり命がけでやられていることなので、僕たちには何もできないですけど、本当に祈ることぐらいで頑張ってほしいとは思います。
そうですね、それはきっと皆さん苦渋の選択をなさっていると思うんですけれども、そのまま放置して日本だけじゃなく世界中に対していろいろ影響が出ることもあると思うので、誰かがやらないといけないんでしょうが、本当にその作業に当たっている方たちのことを思うと何とも言えないです。
非常に深刻な事故だと受け止めています。国際社会も非常にこの問題には関心を持っておりますので、国際社会と連帯して取り組むことが大事だと思います。飛行機から降りたばっかりなんで、まだ最新の情報は知らないでしょうか。はい、ありがとうございます。日本だけでこの問題に取り組んでいるわけではなくて、世界中の人が日本と被災地の方と連帯して取り組もうと思っています。